someone was asking, how long can it take to be fully non-identified? It happens in an instant. It takes no time. The reason why some people might think that this identification takes time is because it's often confused with the dissolution of negative feelings. But the dissolution of negative feelings is something that happens on its own after one recognizes that he or she is not the feelings. So you're listening to my voice right now, and you know that you're not this voice, because it's something that happens in your awareness. But when you become aware of something that you don't want to be identified with anymore, then you're in that moment, when you become aware of it, you are not identified with it. So when you're thinking and you want to get rid of that thought, you don't have to get rid of that thought, just become aware of it. When you have a feeling, a negative feeling, you don't have to get rid of that negative feeling, because you can't. You can't. Because if you could, you wouldn't feel that feeling. If you could use your free will to choose what you want to feel, you would choose to feel ecstatic every morning. But you can't. So when a feeling arises, you don't have to fight it, it's just an appearance and you are aware of it. But if you think that you are a thought or an entity inside of this body that has the power to fight it, then you're identified with the feeler. You think that you are the feeler of the feeling, but actually you do not have the will or the power to change this appearance. So you simply become aware of it. So when there's like a tightness in your body or an anxiety, you simply become aware of that. You can do it right now. Or even if you have thoughts, you become aware of a thought. Sometimes, for example, when a song is stuck in your head, you don't want that song in your head because it's annoying. You simply become aware of that song and you become aware of this annoyance. But you cannot change it, it's just part of the moment. But knowing that you are not it, but you're the awareness that is aware of it, is already liberation. It's this awareness that is aware of those appearances. But when you're trying to find the awareness itself, you cannot find it. You can only know that you are the awareness. So you can rest as awareness, but you cannot see it. So when you become aware of a thought, this is some form of concentration, because you are using the mind's ability to focus on something in particular, which is the thought in this example. So this is concentration, which is the ability of the mind. It's an ability of the mind. But pure awareness never really focus. It cannot focus. It's always open. So when you are concentrating on my voice, for example, or you are concentrated on a thought, because you're only aware of the thought, you can simply stop concentrating and automatically you will become open. And the opposite of concentration happens, which is meditation. So there's this open field which has no limits, and all the appearances are allowed to happen inside of that. And that's disidentification, because there's only this open, undivided awareness in which feelings are allowed to be, and there's not an entity inside of that open awareness that is trying to get rid of that feeling. There's not even an entity that is trying to disidentify. It's just open awareness. So you can rest as that awareness normally when the body is reacting with anxiety, like there's some thoughts and they are worrying, the body is reacting to those thoughts with some anxiety chemicals, then the thought and the feeling are just appearances. I'm not saying that they are not bad, or, you know, of course they don't feel good, but you are aware of it, and you can simply relax because you are not that. You are the awareness of it. So you can let it happen. You're not dissociating from it. You simply know that you are not it, so it's not your problem. You are allowing this to unfold naturally, therefore it can actually dissolve. You're not doing the dissolving. You're allowing it to dissolve because you're no longer trying to control it. So this identification happens in an instant. And when you are disidentified, then the negative feelings can dissolve afterwards. But that's not the goal. Simply knowing that you are this awareness, which is always here, is all you have to know. Not intellectually, but experientially. It might seem that there's an entity inside of you that's interested in that video. You don't have to identify with that. There's just this open awareness. Watchfulness. So you're watchful, for example, when you're sitting on a chair and you are watching whatever you're seeing, and you are relaxing in this empty looking. And then a thought arises. You become aware of a thought, and then you go back to this empty looking, this pure undivided awareness. Then the feeling arises. And the thought that is commenting on this feeling, for example, it's anxiety, so the thought says, oh no, not again, oh shit. So you become aware of that thought and that feeling, okay, and then you go back to this empty looking. So then you hear some birds and a child is laughing, you come back to the empty looking, and it becomes clear that you are always this empty looking, which is not identified with the appearances. So it becomes obvious that what you are does not have any qualities. It just is, and it does not have a name even. So the awareness that I am is the same awareness that you are, because my awareness and your awareness, they are identical, because they do not have a quality. So wherever you go, you're basically interacting with yourself. And you're not even freely interacting, you're not choosing when you are resting as that awareness throughout the day, because it's just your natural state, it's what you are. You can actually observe how this body-mind mechanism is figuring things out on its own, and you're just watching it. So choosing happens on its own. So you can rest as that, and you can just watch how this phenomenal world is unfolding on its own. Home is when you know that you don't have to find it because you are it. For example, when you are watching this video because your mind has questions, but they are not answered. Not every single question is answered yet. Therefore, you want to watch even more videos after this video, which is, I'm not saying that this is something that you shouldn't do. I'm just saying that those questions are an appearance and you are not the questioner. You are aware of that. So you can simply rest in that awareness, because awareness does not care about answers. what you are looking for will not memorize knowledge, because it's free and it's open and it's undivided by nature. It is the function of the mind to divide, but the division that happens in consciousness is not real. It is like an illusion, but you cannot divide awareness. So don't try to fix anything right now, just for a moment, and see what happens. Maybe you have a negative feeling or thoughts that you cannot get rid of, or images in your mind that bother you. Don't try to get rid of those things, because that awareness that is aware of those things does not have a problem with that. It is simply allowing it to be. It appeared and it will disappear naturally. When you know that you are constant, then you don't care about those impermanent things. So this identification does not mean that the seeming personal qualities of this character have to go away and vanish and I have to be like a robot. The seeming personality stays, but there's just no one identified with it. So it's actually nothing magical.